Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It'll just take a few moments to get everyone in the waiting room admitted to the meeting. If you could make sure your audio is turned off when you join, so we don't have any interference. This session is being recorded, so if anyone is unable to join us live, we're going to share this via our social media platforms tonight or tomorrow as soon as the editing has been completed. So thank you for joining us. If it may take us a minute or two just to get everyone admitted to the room, and if you could ensure your microphones are on mute, just to reduce any interference. Thank you very much.
In the microphone.
Yeah. No. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Johnson, Deputy Head Teacher. Mr. Davis will be leading the presentation and talking you through most of the information this evening. This session is being recorded, so if you prefer for your cameras to be off, we totally understand. We would ask if the microphones or your mics are muted to stop any interference. There is a chat function in which you can add any questions, and we'll do our best to man the chat and answer those. This session will also be recorded and uploaded to the pupils' Google Classrooms, but also our social media platforms such as YouTube and Twitter. So if anyone was unable to join us live, it gives an opportunity for those parents and guardians to catch up at their convenience. And just before I hand over to Mr. Davis, I'd just like to reinforce tomorrow is the actual Parents' Evening event. Around 60 to 70% of parents have now made appointments. You can do it via the school website, the parent tab. You click the school cloud icon. You don't need any unique passwords or codes. You just put in your details, your child's details, and make appointments for those allocated teachers for tomorrow evening. If you do have any difficulties signing in for whatever reason, please contact our main reception phone line, and the staff will be at hand to talk you through the signing in process in preparation for tomorrow night, which is between 4 and 6:15. For any reason you're unable to join tomorrow night, the head of year, the pastoral team, the wider members of SLT will, in the next few days, be following up with telephone conferences for anyone who was unable to join us live to give feedback around kind of options and current academic attainment and attitudes to learning and so on. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We do appreciate your time. And I'll hand over now to Mr. Davis, and he'll talk through such an important point in terms of a young person's time in secondary education around options for GCSE. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I really appreciate that. Evening, parents, and I hope there's some young people out there as well. We just wanted to give you this opportunity tonight. I'm going to try and talk for as short a period of time as I can, really, because I wanted to give an opportunity to have question and answer session with yourselves and any pupils who might have questions out there. We're excited about the options process this year because we've got a large year group going through. The school is growing, very, very rapidly, which means we've been able to offer our broadest range of subjects for some time. Some new subjects, some returning subjects that we haven't run for the previous year. So we feel that we've got a broad and balanced offer that can meet the needs of all the learners across the school now. So I just got a couple of slides and I want to show you a couple of resources that you can look at home because, I know I got teenagers in the house. They don't come in and tell you a lot, but we have got some really good resources that they can access to help them make informed choices. Because what we want to do is we want to tie up these options now within the next sort of 10 days after the parents' evening. We don't allow the children, we involve them in the process all the time, but we don't allow them to make any choices, confirmed choices until, of course, you've had an opportunity to speak to these subject teachers, which will happen tomorrow. So the process so far is, in Year 9, we have a week where we give all the children presentations from all of the subject teachers in the option subjects. So we take a few subjects per day. We'd like to do it in the hall, but of course, because of COVID this year was all done remotely. So the class teachers streamed into the room and they gave a breakdown of these subjects. What's included? What's the kind of assessment? Is there coursework? Is there examinations? What can they expect? What's the expectations of them? Is there any special equipment? What type of skills will they need? Reasons to pick it. And also, as importantly, a lot of the time, reasons to not pick it. When we do that, then we give the children a choice of all the subjects that we think we could possibly run in the school and a free choice. So pick in any order. And then that then decides option lines, okay, because the subjects have to be drawn up into option lines. And then if you've got any older children will have been through this before. Once we've been through that, we let the children pick in option lines, and then we check then whether those option lines are suitable for the vast majority of the year group. So, we'll say when we look at the option lines, there's always an unfortunate few souls where, 2 or 3 of the option subjects end up in one line. And then we have to do some, have some conversations with the children about what we're going to do and what we can support them in. But the way you've got the options set up now suits the vast majority of the pupils across the school, okay? So it's been cross-checked by senior staff, it's been cross-checked by progress leaders, by mid-leaders in the school. So we've done our very best to keep the most popular subjects apart so the children can pick what they want. We got the question answer session tonight. We got parents' evening tomorrow, and then following on from tomorrow, I'll be looking to do final choices. And we do all this stuff now via Google and remote. But when it comes to the final choices, I do ask for a signed parents' copy because that's kind of an agreement between us that I don't want any little Johnny or Sally pulling the wool over my eyes. They're trying to pick a subject that perhaps parents haven't agreed to. If I've got the parents' signed copy of the paper version of the options form, then that just gives us a bit of reassurance if in case there's any queries when we come to settling into Year 10 and getting our GCSEs done. Can I have the next slide, sir, please? So this is what the form will look like for the children and will come out to you tomorrow. Okay, so I'll give them paper copies of this. If you look on the left-hand side in the compulsory subjects, you can see that over the years, in recent years, the curriculum has been really, really squeezed. So years ago, the children used to pick 4 options. Now, because of the amount of stuff that has to be covered compulsory from the Welsh Government, we're down to 3 options now. But the qualifications that the children have to follow, the courses the children have to follow, are 2 GCSEs in English, language and literature, 2 in maths, 1 numeracy, then the double award science, which is another 2 parts, another 2 GCSE the component. The Welsh Baccalaureate is compulsory, the general studies qualification compulsory for all children in Wales. Welsh, there is no such thing as second language Welsh anymore, so all children follow a very similar GCSE in Welsh, whether it's in a first language or a second language English school. In our school, all children get a qualification in religious education, whether that be RS, GCSE, or we run a new course called Ethics and Diversity, which we really hope is going to be, is going to be a good course for the children. And especially in such a turbulent time in the world, give them a wider understanding of empathy and their place in the world, which is a really important part of the new curriculum for Wales. All children do core physical education because it's part of health and well-being. There's no examination in that. And we like to get as many children as we can through different types of personal finance qualifications because we feel that that's something that's missing in the curriculum. And we've got a couple of little qualifications up our sleeve that give the children some really good tips about shopping around, how to get insurance, what to buy, what not to buy, how to dodge the end of aisle deals, the components of a bank account, how to apply for a bank account, what a credit card is, what a debit card is, and so on. So lots of life skills come through in that personal finance qualification. So we tend to do that by a kind of extracurricular kind of drop-down approach. So more information will come out on that when the children are in year 10. So in terms of the option subjects, you've got digital technology at the top of the page. I'm going to give a little rundown on each of the subjects. Digital technology, ICT, is in every line. Okay, so very, very popular subject. There are enough children, usually about 80% of our children, sometimes higher, will follow digital technology as one of their GCSEs, because it's something we all need these days oftentimes, and because our outcomes in it are fantastic. You know, so we do get very, very good A star to C and A star to G pass rates in digital technology. Okay, in line 1 we got French, so a traditional GCSE subject, a mix and match of coursework, oracy, listening skills, alongside a traditional kind of examination. In PE in line 1, we've got lots of options available to the pupils, a very popular subject. We run a GCSE, which is very heavily based on, you know, anatomy and physiology, and you as a performer, how well can you perform in sports, rugby, rounders, hill walking, swimming. We also run a BTEC in sport, which is more about the pupils as a facilitator. So coaching, planning, training programs, the kind of health side of sport, okay? That course has got no examination, it's purely based on coursework, and the pupils can gain up to a double B grade in that course as well. So we've got a sport course available for all, really. Health and social care, we've been running for several years now. It's become massively popular in the school. It will probably be oversubscribed. It is a mix and match of coursework and traditional examination, and it's all about this really growing market in terms of workplace opportunities regards health and social care. So all your kind of service industries, your nurses, your healthcare workers, all those type of people, social studies, social care workers, anybody interested in them type of careers, that's a good little pick for them. Performing arts, there's lots of routes through the performing arts course in the school. It's actually called creative and media. But really, what we want is the children who are involved in performing arts
using my phone, so I need to
willing to perform. Okay, so they want to get up on the stage, they want to be getting involved with singing, dancing. There is backstage components of it, but at some point, those children may want to be producing a performance. So if you're not going to be involved in that kind of thing, it's not the course for you. GCSE art, a very popular subject for us, okay? Very well taught, as all subjects are, excellent outcomes, heavily based around coursework, but you're going to need to have a flair, an interest, looking at sketching, drawing, painting, sculpting, all mod rock work. There's a variety of types of assessment in that. Design technology is very popular in the school, probably going to be oversubscribed. And as you can see, it's in 2 lines. We run all different types of aspects of design technology as well. So you've got your traditional making type stuff. So, you know, woodwork, kind of metalwork type things that you would have thought of in my day, down to graphics, down to computer-aided design, down to using machinery and laser cutters to produce products and so on. So DT is heavily based in the design process. So there's a lot of theory work in year 10 that goes into a lot of then making throughout year 11, okay? So it's really important you talk to Miss Mills, Mr. Waite about the composition of that course. Very popular subject. GCSE history, massively popular. Okay, probably going to end up with 2 history classes. Excellent outcomes, very well taught, as all subjects are. Lots and lots of writing. Okay, so you know, if you're going to be interested in that kind of using sources, being you know, quoting times of history, remembering your dates, applying that kind of knowledge to exam type questions, history is a great one for you. Teamwork and communication is a purely outdoor ed type based course, okay? So it's all about, it's very much aimed at pupils aiming at jobs in the public sector. So your fire service, army, police service, or any children who are just interested in doing practical work. There are no examinations. It's all about developing your teamwork skills, about developing your communication skills, developing your problem solving skills. You'll go through multiple problem solving type activities. You have to evaluate your effectiveness and the effectiveness of your team in those activities. We bring in lots of external speakers. We bring in lots of kind of support from like army careers and do team building days and so on. That is a purely non-examination based course. We do land navigation by map and compass. So we do expedition skills. So we do a lot of like that D.A.V. type qualification. And we do like to get all the pupils through the D.A.V. Bronze Award alongside the teamwork communication course. And again, that course goes up to a double B. In food and nutrition, we've got a traditional GCSE route. We've also got a hospitality and catering route. So the very hands-on, meal prep, chef type work, healthy eating, and then alongside that, we got a qualification that's more related to the hospitality sector, catering, traditional catering for big events, planning for that kind of thing. Business studies is a BTEC course. There's a small kind of examination type element, which is quite mathematical, but it's not maths as such. It's more about patterns and trends and economics. It's very popular in the school. It's something that we've created in Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 5 because we see it as a very marketable course in terms of future job prospects, okay, and a very open business world as well, okay, lots of career opportunities. Geography, very popular subject, excellent outcomes, you know, mix and match of coursework, lots of field work, traditional, getting out there, river studies, bringing that information back to school, applying that to graph work, numerical work, some extended writing, lots of analytical skills, comparing and contrasting type work. So a very good subject for developing a wide range of skills, okay? And then lastly, we got the BTEC Suite course. So it's pure examination. Suite is for the oldest amongst us, is a bit kind of like a world of work qualification. It's all about preparing people for life after school. How to present yourself, how to conduct yourself in industry, how to prepare for jobs, how to prepare yourself for the work market, how to be a team player, how to problem solve. There's lots of discussion groups, there's debating activities. There are opportunities to look at finance, like the personal finance qualification. Within that course is an element called Money Matters, where people look at balancing your pay at the end of the month. So it's a very skills-based qualification. And again, the pupils can get up to a BB in that course, depending on how many modules that they can complete. So even though there's only 3 option lines, within those 3 option lines, there are some opportunities to get double GCSEs. So if a child, for example, was to pick BTEC Sport, Teamwork Communication, and BTEC Suite, they could get up the equivalent of 6 Bs out of those option lines if they were to max out in all those courses. Okay. I'm sure there'll be questions about that at the end, but if I can run through one last slide, sir. Okay, just some considerations for you, okay? So I've put at the top there, careers question mark. So is what the children pick in these next three option lines going to change the outcomes of the rest of their life and the job they're going to get? Hand on heart, my honest answer is no, okay? But it's important they make an informed choice, because when you come to the next point, when you talk about continuation and level 3 choices, then that could be an important consideration. So if I want to pick a course that I can follow through into sixth form or into college or into the workplace or into an apprenticeship, then it might be an important consideration for me, okay? Where can the children go to look for this information? And I'm going to share some of this for you, hopefully. I'm going to look at something called UniFrog. I don't know if they've talked to you about this at home, mums and dads, but please encourage your children to show you the UniFrog platform. It is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to share my screen shortly, and I'm going to show you some of the power of the stuff they can do. But if children are undecided about their futures, or even if they've really got something strong in mind that they want to do, UniFrog is a one-stop shop to tell them how to get there, okay? If they want to be a doctor or a sports coach or a construction worker or a bricklayer, there are ways to find out how to get into that pathway through UniFrog, and it gives you some very detailed information about the labour market in our area as well, in those fields, okay? And you've also got the Careers Wales website. So we do a lot of work with Careers Wales. Year 9 have just booked in the calendar, going to do something called a job matching quiz shortly with a careers advisor. But there is lots of guidance on Careers Wales about things like modern apprenticeships and things like that as well. Other things to...
Sorry, Mr. Davis, just to say, the careers advisor is available to make appointments for tomorrow evening. So as part of those targeted sessions, I think there's around 10 or 12 appointments made with our careers advisor. But if parents want a direct conversation, that is built into tomorrow night's evening. But if you're unavailable for that, I'm sure a kind of bespoke follow-up would be available at later dates as well.
Yes, perfect. Her name is Emma Pike. Okay, she's really good, careers advisor. She's very hands-on and she's doing lots of work with young people. So if you need to, some guidance there, it's good to make an appointment with Emma tomorrow. So I said enjoyment. Enjoyment is a factor. It's important children enjoy their GCSEs. When you look to the left-hand side, that option sheet, there is so much stuff that is compulsory for the children. They want to be going in their options. They get 15 hours of options per fortnight. They want to be going to subjects where they know they're going to enjoy themselves. They know they're going to go on. And when it comes to the next point, attainment, where they know they're going to be successful. Okay, you've had reports and you begin reports tomorrow. It's important you look at your child's attainment and look at their global grade and their target grade, and look at the kind of subjects you're interested in, and are they getting their best grades in those subjects, okay? So to give you the example, in GCSE PE, people would always say, I want my sports to be rugby and swimming and this, that, and the other. But when we look at it and do the breakdown of qualifications, it might be that they can get a better range of marks if we put forward marks from hill walking and badminton and rounders, okay? So the whole point of GCSEs is they are tools to move on to the next part of your career, whether that be in sixth form, whether that be in college, whether that be in the workplace. So when you look at your attainment, if you've got a subject you've been very successful in, that's because your skills oftentimes as a young learner are suitable to the needs of that course. You're a good practical performer. You're good at extended writing. You're good at something that matches the assessment process in that course. So attainment is very important. Course breakdown, assessment methods is important. How much coursework is there? You know, I mentioned a raft of qualifications there which don't require the children to do any examinations. If examinations cause stress, then go for subjects that require less or no examinations, okay? You will also get a lot more teacher support in that your teachers can guide you better in the coursework-based subjects, okay? They can't write it for you, but they can guide you and they can support you. And in certain courses, there are opportunities to redraft, okay? Subject combinations can be important. You know, naturally, history and geography will go well together. The subjects will complement each other, okay? Business studies and IT would make sense as a combination for future careers and continuation into level 3, okay? So look at the combinations of subjects. But at the same time, if you're going to be successful and if you're going to attain well and if you're going to enjoy 3 totally unconnected subjects, should we say, you know, French and business studies and something else that I can't think of, then go for those things by all means, okay? But talk to your teachers about it and talk to me, talk to Miss Poole, talk to Mr. Johnson, talk to the subject teachers and get some guidance as to whether they think will be successful. Now, I must say, okay, that this is a very large year group, okay? It's the second largest year group in the school. A number of subjects are going to be oversubscribed. So the children will all be asked to pick their first and second choices in each subject line. And there will inevitably be some pupils who will end up upset. Now, we'll do our very best to keep everybody happy. When those decisions are made, a lot of thought and time will be put into it. What was the pupil's attainment like? What was their approach to learning like? What is their attitude in class like? How much effort do they give? How hard do they work in? Okay. And ultimately, subject teachers and progress leaders will have to make the final decision about what will suit the pupils best and what subjects they can go into. This is a common process in all schools. We've been fortunate in Hill D in recent years. We've had quite small year groups and we haven't been in this position, but we are in this position with the current year 9 in there being 133 year groups. The year group is overfull. We should only have 128 kids in our year. There's 133. Okay. And my last caveat is this, which is the most important thing to the pupils, is don't follow your friends. It does happen in small numbers every year where children pick things that they think their friends are doing because they think they want to be comfortable in a class. That is not the way to go at all. Okay, that is the one thing I advocate against is following their friends into certain option groups because the assessment methods or the way the course is broken down might not meet, you know, your particular skill set at all. Okay. So I'm going to try and share my screen, sir, so I can just show Unifrog if you can open that up for me. I got participants sharing is disabled.
Sorry, Mr. Davis.
That's okay, no problem.
I'll try and add that feature now, but just as a caveat, really, I've been at the school a number of years now, not quite as many as Mr. Davis, but what is really pleasing around that curriculum offer is the range of subjects that are now available to our young people. Probably that's the most comprehensive offer of a range of subjects across 3 option lines that I can remember in the last 10 to 12 years. And across those option lines, there are those traditional GCSEs, as in your geography, your histories, your ITs and languages such as French, but also those vocational offers now which have grown across each option line. So whether you want your young person to pick, you know, the traditional GCSE offer or a mix and match of traditional and some of those vocational ongoing assessment-based subjects, or a streamline of those vocational. So, you know, there are 3 kind of options there as parents and guardians, the traditional GCSE, a mix and match of both, or an option line that has more of those vocational offers, and we're very proud of that kind of curriculum offer now, of how much it's grown recently. And I think especially the young people coming through our year 7, 8 and 9 cohorts now have had the most comprehensive range of subjects, and we've had in the recent history of the school. This was something that has grown. Mr. Davis has done a great job with our curriculum needs to grow those offers. So there is a fantastic range now. I just seeing if I can change those settings.
Okay, so I think that's a really important point Mr. Johnson makes there. There is nothing wrong with doing a traditional GCSE route, so say French, German, history. There's nothing wrong with mixing, matching vocational courses with GCSEs, and there's nothing wrong with going on a pure vocational route. That advice would stand true in the sixth form also. So we're saying that to our year 11 learners now, we're picking options for the sixth form or the college or the next stage. Universities these days very much welcome and want learners who have picked A-levels, mixed and match A-levels with BTECs or IVETs, or gone for a pure kind of BTEC route. The assessment methods within BTEC courses are very similar to what you would see in a university. I got that now, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. So yeah, I just changed the settings. Thank you.
Right. Lovely. So I want to share my screen. Okay. If you can help me out, Mr. Johnston. Can you see a Unifrog page now? Yeah.
Yes, it's live, sir.
Thank you. Please, parents, ask, and this is the perfect night. This is why we timed it now. This is all planned in advance. Tonight is the Unifrog virtual fair, and it's starting out from 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock. This got Joe Wicks as the talking about his world in business and being a business person. And within that, then I've sent this out to the pupils through the Unifrog's account. There are a whole host of events happening tonight, all about next stages in education. What are you going to do next when you leave school and so on? So we're not quite there yet, but it could help them with regards decisions over the next couple of weeks. Okay. Now, what I would advise the young people to do is they've looked at this. They've all taken these 2 quizzes here, which is started. This is learning software. Once you tell this information a bit about yourself, it starts to personalize your experience, and it starts to tell you things you might like, things you've been interested in. So all the children have done that, and they've all looked at these bits and pages. Under the know-how library, they've all gone in and they've favorited some stuff about revision because they had exams coming up at the time when I spoke to them. So they've all got a favorites list now on how to revise. So there's bits of kit like that in there. But what I would advise the children to do is look at the subjects library, and particularly tonight now, before you pick your options tomorrow, look at the careers library, okay? So they go into this tool under this little kind of brownie colored button here, and you can put any career in there under the sun, and it will give you information, okay? So if can you have my screen changed, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great. I put in to the search bar just now, healthcare in the careers library, okay? Because it's jobs of the future, healthcare. We're all getting older, okay? So care in the home is going to become, and outside of the traditional hospital setting is going to become a massive thing. Hence the reason why we've got such a big uptake and an offer in the School for Health and Social Care type courses, right? So under the healthcare, one of the jobs I found was a social services manager, okay? Now, you can do this for any subject, electrician, doctor, nurse, bricklayer. You can do it for whatever you like. And it starts to give you all this information. What are the types of things you will do? How long can you expect to work in a working week? This is very important. What do you need to get in? So if you put in there, aerospace engineer, under this section, it would tell you, you will need a graduate degree. You will need to go to university. You'll need to do A-level maths. And these are the places you can do it. And then following on from there, you can use this as a tool to make a short list for universities, and it also helps you to apply to that particular university later down the page. Some information over here about skills you need. These are brilliant, these links to know-how guides. Look, so in 1 year, getting on the ladder. How do I get into social care? That might be a video, that might be, I haven't looked at this one, it might be a PDF, it might be something to tell you how to get into that workplace, okay? And this is the bit that I love in particular. The labour market information, and look how personalised it is. So there's 90,000 UK jobs in social care service work, okay? But there's only 233 of them in Caerphilly, and it's way down the list of LEAs. So if you want to get a job as a social care manager, there might not be one available to you, particularly in Caerphilly, or if you do, it's going to be very competitive. So you need to work hard to make sure that when you go into the interview for that job, you're going to be top of the tree. So you can see how specific the information can get for the young people now on what they can do with their future careers by using this tool, okay? Now, as they progress through the school and move into year 11, we'll be using this more and more. And when they get into the sixth form, if they come into the sixth form, they will be using this to make the university applications and so on. Now, right now, I've set the leaving date for everybody in this system for year 13. So I'm assuming that everybody will still want to use this information until they are of school leaving age at the end of sixth form. So even if your child decides to leave school at the end of year 11, we're going to keep Unifrog open to you, because hand on heart, we're not paying for it at the moment. If we have to start paying for it as a school, that situation might change. Okay, but it's a really, really good bit of kit alongside Careers Wales. Please talk to the young people about it. Okay, 29 minutes, not bad. So that gives us half an hour for lots and lots of questions, if possible, please. We got anything in the chat, sir?
Nothing yet, guys. If we could just pause for a minute. If you prefer not to unmute and ask verbally, that's fine. So if you'd like to just pause for a moment and add any questions to the chat feature, or if you prefer to unmute and ask us verbally, that's okay as well. Or conversely, you might not think of a question currently, but those questions may come apparent tonight, tomorrow, and then you can ask more informed questions to the heads of subject, pastoral leaders in the parents' evening tomorrow night. So Mr. Davis and I will just pause for a minute. If there are any questions, please use the chat feature where you can type into. Or like I said, if you prefer to unmute, that's okay as well. Or conversely, if the explanations are so detailed that you've got everything that you need currently, but overnight and into tomorrow, there may be some questions that come up for the parents' evening. But we wanted to make sure you was informed as much as we possibly could be prior to having those kind of targeted conversations tomorrow night. And as Mr. Davis said, there will be a bit of a lag then of around 10 days after the parents' evening in which you can make those final decisions and countersign the options list, and then the options kind of final decisions are made around teaching lines and so on.
Oh, we got a couple of questions, sir. So I've got a how do I find a drama teacher on Unifrog? If you look in the careers library and type in performing arts teacher, okay, you should be able to get to something that will help you there. Or just go in and look at generic teaching at first. So if you want to become a teacher, you know, I suggest that you go through the performing arts route. In Wales, you're going to have to get a B in GCSE English and Maths or Numeracy or Literature to become a teacher, because otherwise you can't get into university. So you need to think about that and whether you're on track to get on your GCSEs right now, or if you're not, what can you do to make sure you do get through there? But you'll be able to find plenty of information on there.
There's a second.
Yeah, go on, sir.
So there's a second question. Is tomorrow night for options or a parents' evening? And the best way I describe it is both. What we advise is for you to make appointments with the core subjects in the first instance, so your Maths, English, Science, Welsh Baccalaureate, and then the subjects that you are indicating are your primary choices, which you could find more about. So tomorrow night, they will be discussing academic progress, attitude to learning, and the suitability of the young people for the courses in which they attend, anticipating would be their preferences. Within the School Cloud system is a fantastic piece of kit, a software to allow virtual parents' evening under some of the kind of COVID restrictions that are in place, but hopefully being lifted soon. There is a maximum capacity of appointments to provide equal opportunities for all parents, even if they sign in late, could still make appointments. So there isn't a maximum of 8 appointments per family. But if you want any further feedback outside of those 8 appointments, the head of year, the pastoral team, or those heads of subjects will follow up in the following days or into next week if you haven't got all of the information that you want tomorrow night. So it's a hybrid session to discuss current academic progress, but also viability of subject choices.
In terms of the topics that are covered for the subjects, I by In Touch, I hope you all received it. I sent out a copy of the school options booklet. So parents should have received an email that had an attachment with it that had an options booklet on it, which detailed each subject, how much coursework there was, what will be covered, what will be studied during the course. Okay. This is an excellent question about the Bs I mentioned for teaching. What if I can get a B in one and not in the other? Well, my answer to that is you're only in year 9. So you've got an awful long time to do something about that now. So if you know you need a B, you need to have a conversation with whichever teacher you've got for the subject you're not going to be in, and do everything you can to make sure that you can get that B grade, because it is totally doable now. you've got time to put it right. If this was you were in year 11 and we were really tight towards the end of GCSEs, you'd be up against it to try and improve your GCSE grade. But it's within the power of everybody here now to work hard, have a great approach to learning, work with their teachers, and then really do their very best to get a GCSE.
There was a question, sir, around a physical copy of the options choices.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing our bit for the environment, okay? So we're trying to be as digital as we can. But if whoever that parent is rings into reception, we will get a hard copy of the options booklet printed off for you, okay? And Mrs. Davis has put in here, yeah, we're back in the trend here because that's my thing, is I want the paper copy of the options forms in. So I'll print those off. We've had a few IT problems this week. I will print them off ready for the pupils. I'll run assembly with them all tomorrow morning. So I'll meet all the pupils tomorrow morning to have this kind of conversation with them, and I'll give them their paper copies of their options form then. Entry requirements for GCSEs back to school, okay? So the traditional thing is to say, when we talk about GCSE, I'm assuming you're talking about sixth form, so the question from someone's iPad. The traditional answer is 5 GCSEs include at C or better, including maths or English, okay? Now we do, particularly in the light of COVID and the amount of school that pupils have missed and the mitigating circumstances, we have taken some learners back. And there is an option that haven't got that full requirement, okay? So they may have 5 GCSEs, but say they might not have maths, but they passed English. We would then put on a reset time for the maths lesson, okay? So we do take those cases on a case-by-case basis. But again, my answer to you is the same person as the young person asked about the B maths. You've got time to do something about it now. If you want to come back to 6 and we want you all year, you've got time to make sure you get those 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15 GCSEs, whichever's in your capability. The booklet which covers the topics was sent out via email. So it went via the InTouch system. So there should be an email in the parents' inbox with an attachment with a really detailed booklet. The subject is put the information together, and Mr. Stone made into a fantastic product for us.
I think, sir, we could potentially upload that to the Year 9 home learning Google Classroom as a backup as well, so the pupils.
I'll do that. I'll do that after the meeting, sir.
And Mrs. Davis has just mentioned that we can send that via class charts, which I know around 80–90% of Year 9 parents are regularly using as well. So we'll send it out on a couple of other platforms just to ensure you have it. And within that document, guys, as Mr. Davis says, it gives a detailed breakdown of the topics, the percentage of exam, percentage of coursework, or if it's all coursework. So when you're having those discussions with parents evening and making your final choices, at least you can
But don't forget, guys, we've got a full rotation of the timetable now before you make your full choices. So the best source of information is your teacher. Talk to them, ask them, are you suitable for the courses? Do they think you'll perform well in it? Do you think that you can score or exceed your global grade? Okay. Traditionally, we will be pushing pupils to achieve their global grade in the core subjects, English, maths, science, Welsh back, and to then exceed it in most cases in their option subjects, because we are picking these things, the things we enjoy, the things we excel in, and the things that we want you to perform very well in. Yeah, I've got a note for myself, Mr. and Mrs. Yoxwell. I'm going to send that out via class charts, and I'm going to put it in the home learning area.
Lovely question then. So regarding global grade, is there anything to do with GCSEs?
Well, your global grade is based on a whole host of information, everything we can find on you and your past performance and what we know about you in school. The global grade is the target grade, the average grade we want you to achieve in every subject. So if you're a C global grade learner, we would want you to get a minimum of C's off right across the board. Okay? And we would want you to get in excess of that C grade in many of your particularly option subjects, because it's things traditionally you've enjoyed, that you excel in, and you perform very well in. So it's a target grade, and it gives you all something to aim for. It is aspirational. It is set probably above your past experience or above perhaps what you achieved in primary school, but we want to use it to push you on, and it's worked very, very successfully in the past. Global grades can change. Okay, so you'll have a report now. Traditionally, if a child is green in 6 or more subjects, particularly if they come from the core subjects, the global grade will increase. So it's a good opportunity for you to have a conversation there now with your son or daughter when you get the report to see how many of these subjects are they achieving in the global grade in. When we get our global grade, when we get our assessment detail in from our teachers, myself and the head of year go through them and we change the level of challenge appropriately. So very rarely do we take them down. It's all about aspiration, it's about challenge. But we often push global grades up when children at any time in the school are starting to exceed, particularly if it's around about 6 of their 11, 13 subjects. Great questions, thank you.
Thank you for everyone's attendance this evening. We do appreciate you coming along, and we've really valued sharing the information so you can make the most informed decision. I know it's a busy week meeting us this evening and parents' evening tomorrow, but this isn't the end of that journey. As Mr. Davis said, there is a time frame now in which the physical form will come home and you've got a number of days to make those final decisions. But please speak with subject teachers tomorrow night. Please get any additional feedback from those parents' evening sessions, debating with staff. And of course, if there are any further questions, the senior staff are available, pastoral leaders, our careers officer. So there's a whole range of staff that are available, and we'll do our absolute best to support you in making those most informed decisions, which will then be in place for the next 2 years. So thank you for your attendance, and please could you pass on the message to any parents, guardians, wider family members, other members of the community that weren't able to join us live this evening, that in the next 24 hours, this recording will be shared via the Google Classroom, but also via our social media platforms, via a YouTube channel, so that people can watch it back if they, for whatever reason, were unable to join us live this afternoon. So thank you, guys. There's no more questions in the chat, so we'll end the recording now in the session. And if there's anything else we can do, please let us know.
Bye, everyone.